So let's talk about the three dimensions of intuition: directional, social, and informational.
Yeah, so basically how we've really cut this through is there's three ways that we look at intuition. So there's intuition with yourself, intuition with self and other, and then intuition between yourself and the whole environment. So this has so many business applications where the first step is really, how do I learn to connect with my own inner compass and my decision maker? So we call it directional intuition because it's really how we make decisions in our direction, how we navigate our business day.
Our self-GPS almost?
Our inner GPS, exactly.
Okay.
And so I actually call it the navigator.
Okay.
I have little nicknames for each of these.
Okay.
The second one is the vibe detector.
The vibe detector.
Which is about social intuition. So if the first one goes this way between me and learning my own signals and cues for how I receive information intuitively, the second one is how do I read out what's happening in the space with other people? So it's about
do I vibe
interpersonal.
with the other person, right?
Yeah, it's checking out the vibes, whether it's one-on-one or one-to-many. So if I'm doing an investment pitch or I have an audience, how do I track in real time what the needs are? And so I can pivot in the moment if I need to, which is so valuable as a business person. Or if I'm doing a one-on-one sales conversation, how do I learn to read nonverbal communication and body signals and everything that's going on that's not being spoken? So social intuition is so huge, not just in business, even in personal life. And so the last one then is informational intuition, which I call the integrator.
Okay.
So we've got the navigator, the vibe detector, and the integrator.
Okay.
And I do want t-shirts for each of these one day. And so the integrator is how do we integrate all the information that we're receiving in the whole environment? So it's not just about interpersonal anymore. It includes that, but it also transcends that. It's about all the data in your decision making. So for example, if we're doing a business deal, I have to first check in with my decision maker, like, okay, does this feel right? Am I on the right track with this agreement? And then I tune into the vibe detector. Does it feel right across the table? And with the partnership that I'm trying to work out this negotiation with, are we on the same page? Are we giving and taking in the right ratio, the right percentage? And it feels like we're in a real agreement. There still might be a third variable that's off though. So even though this feels totally right in our business negotiation, maybe the timing is off. Maybe we need to get more information from our suppliers that we don't have. So there's a whole other data set that we have to be able to discern and include in our decision making that might have nothing to do with how I feel about it and how we feel about it. So that's where these three dimensions really serve a business. And so we actually take leaders and help them develop their three dimensions of intuition with practical experiential exercises over the course of a day or two. And it's amazing to see how they then navigate their decision making when these come alive.
If two of the three, or let's say all three, should be in alignment, but as you mentioned, if two are positive and then one is off, would that mean that, what's that process, I guess, in terms of alignment of the three dimensions?
Yeah, this is where intuition is so critical, is being willing to feel like, hey, I still want this deal to go through, we both want it, but why do we feel like, or do we notice that life is showing us it's not happening? And even though our best intentions want this to go forward, but there's always roadblocks that are showing up. What if that's feedback that we need to pay attention to? And yeah, maybe we can still overcome that, but we still need to pay attention to, is there a pattern here? Are we noticing this is harder than it should be? Those are some ways that you can start to decode and use your integrator in that way. Or just even asking the questions like, oh, is this really what wants to happen now? Is Q3 when we should be launching this product? Or are we actually just trying to stay ahead of our competition, but we haven't even done the beta testing? And we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot if we launch this right now. So that's where it gets really interesting in a team meeting or a strategic planning. When are we really tuning into not just what our agenda is and we see profit on the wall and we aim for it, but are we actually making the best holistic decision for our company?
It forces you to take a step back to assess the whole picture.
Because exactly, like the integrator makes you go to more of a meta perspective, where you're seeing everything from a bigger view. If you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, yes. For me, I think of it like the integrator is like seeing the Matrix code. It's like, oh, okay, it's Q4, not Q3. It's like you're able to see all the patterns using pattern recognition, using your experience of your industry and your craft, and really knowing the essence of that area so you can make a better decision.